this video, we are going to learn binomial distribution and how to calculate the mean and variance in Excel. So before moving to the Excel, let's take a brief for the binomial distribution. Binomial distribution means it is a probability distribution that calculates the probability of number of success in a fixed number of independent trials. So independent trial means the outcome of one trial does not affect the other. So in the binomial experiment, it has a certain properties that must to be satisfied in order to apply this distribution. The first thing is experiment must be performed multiple times. Means a same experiment is performed repeatedly n times. Suppose we are fixing the number of trials as n. In that case, each trial has either success or failure. And in case of success of the required outcome, the probability is denoted by P, and for the case of failure of the corresponding probability is represented by Q, that is further is equal to 1 minus P. And the third condition for the binomial experiment is the trial should be an independent and identical. Identical trial means the probability of getting the success is same throughout the experiment. Means in each trial, if the probability of a success is suppose A, in the same probability will be there for the rest of the trial for getting a success. Independent means the outcome of one trial does not affect the other. Next, the probability distribution of binomial random variable x that represents the number of success in n independent trial is calculated by this formula, where x is the number of success in a n trial in the binomial experiment, and p defines the probability of getting a success of the particular x, and q represent the probability for the failure. And in this case, the mean is calculated as the number of trial into the probability of the success, and that is denoted by mu. And the variance is represented by sigma square, that is equal to number of trial into the probability of getting success into the probability of getting a failure. So this value is further calculated as NP 1 minus P. Now, in order to understand how to calculate the binomial distribution, let's consider a data set with a size of 1755 that is collected from the individuals regarding their musical preference among the classical songs, western and the religion songs. Suppose you want to determine the success rate for the preference of religion song. So what does it mean? It means we need to find the probability of selecting a religion song among these three options. So for this, we need to count the number of individuals that selected the religion song as their musical preference. So for that, we have two ways. One is you can use the filter, and the second is the control if command. Filter, you can select this entire column by just clicking on this one. After that, you can use the shortcut key, that is equal to the shift plus control plus L. So once you do that, you will get this type of icon over here. After that, click on this one. So it will show that right now in this column we have these entries: classical, folk, religion, western and a blank. And suppose you just want the entries of the religions. So just select this one, and after that select the religion and then press OK. So once you do that, you will check if total number of entries in this column is equal to 549, including with this cell. So we need to ignore this cell, or we can say that total number of religions entry is equal to 548. This is a one way to find the total number of favorable cases as a religion song preference. Similarly, you can again click on this one, select this, select western. Find the count for the western songs. The total count for the western song preference is equal to 615 rather than a 616, because we need to remove this selection. And the same for the last case, that is a classical song. So then press OK, and then you will get the count for the classical folk songs that is a 592 rather than a 593, because right now it is also selected this cell. So in order to avoid this confusion, there is an alternative way. You can move to the countf command. That is a very simple. So first, we need to keep each and every data in this column. Now the total number of entries in this column is equal to 756. It is also including this one but not the blank one. So again we will remove this confusion in a few minutes. So first let's count the number of Western entries in this column. For that, select any empty cell and write the formula is equal to count if open bracket, we need to mention the range. So range is from the column this one, so select this one. It automatically takes each and every entry from this column. Then write comma. Now what exactly you want to find? So first we need to find the Western, and that is given in a N3 column. Select this one and close this bracket and press enter. So total number of entries, that is equal to Western in this case is 650. Now for the classical folk, what you will do? You will drag this formula. Once you drag this formula, it will give you the count for the classical folk songs as well as for the religions case. Now the total number of entries, you need to count the total number of entries. So just take the sum of these one. So suppose if I want to find the sum of these one, so I will write this is equal to sum. So this entry starts from O3 to O5. And then close this bracket and then press enter. So the total number of entries are 1755. So this is the total count. Now we need to calculate the probability. Probability is equal to the number of favorable cases divided by the total outcomes. So let's calculate that. Just write P is equal to in one of the cell. Now we need to find the probability of getting a Western song preference. That is the probability of getting a success rate in the Western song. So that is calculated as total number of favorable cases, that is equal to, and the total number of favorable cases are 615, that is given in a O3 cell, divided by total number of outcomes, that is given in a O7 cell. Then press enter. Now once you will drag this formula, you will get an error. Now why we are getting this error? Just click on this one. Now observe this formula. So over here O4 by O8. So O4 is there. This is a O4. There is a O8. This is a O8 cell. And in this case, there is a no entry over here. But we need a O7 rather than O8. In the previous case, we have written O3 by O7. In the next case, we need O4 by O7. In the next case, we need a O5 by O7. It means we need to fix one cell, that is the O7. So for that, double click on this one. Then in between the O and 7, we will write the dollar so that we can fix the cell O7. Then press enter, and after that drag this formula till P5. So you will get the probability corresponding to these three choices. So here probability represents the success rate in order to get the Western song preference, or for the classical song preference, or for the religion song preference. We can also create a pie chart to visualize this distribution of a preference. So this chart will show that the percentage of the people preferring the religion song, Western song and the classical song. So with this information, we can also calculate the probability of the preference for the religion song, that is equal to K. It is in a percentage form. So its probability of getting a success rate is 0.313 and its failure rate is 1 minus this probability. Similarly, you can calculate the probability of the getting a classical song preference. So that is equal to 0.337. And the probability of getting a failure in this case, that is equal to 1 minus P. So that is equal to 1 minus 0.337. Now for the Western song, what is the probability of getting a success rate in a Western song? That is equal to 0.35. And the failure in this case is 1 minus 0.35, that is equal to 0.65. Now we will create a binomial distribution under the preference of religion song first in the Excel by taking the number of trial is equal to 15. And in this case, the probability of getting a success rate is 0.313. So first we will define the random variable x in this case. So for that we will take the number of trial, in our case n is equal to 15. So we will begin by entering the trial in a first column, column A of a Excel. To do that, select the cell A2 and enter 0, and then select the cell A3, enter 1. Now select both the cell by using the keypad shift and clicking on A2 and A3. So after this, drag the selection down till A70, so that the total number of trial we can take it as n is equal to 15. Write this A1 as x. So this is the possible values of the random variable x. Next we will find the binomial distribution. For this we need the total count of trials and the probability of the success. So let's enter n is equal to 15 in an empty cell, suppose in D2. So write 15 over here, and in D1 just write n is equal to. So now we will write the probability in a E2 cell. That's right, that is equal to 0.313 for this case, and write P in a E1 cell. Probability for the failure, that is equal to Q, and that is calculated as a 1 minus P. 1 minus P. For that, select the empty cell F2 and write the formula is equal to 1 minus E2, where E2 represents the probability of success, and then press enter. Now with these values of set, we can calculate the binomial distribution function. For that, choose an empty cell, suppose B2. Write the formula is equal to binomial, so that is BINOM, then distribution, just write DIST, then open bracket, possible values of random variables. So in this case it is given in a column A, so we will press A2, comma, so total trials are 15, that is written in a D2 cell. Probability of a success written in a E2 cell. Now the point is whether we need the cumulative distribution function or a simple distribution function. So right now we are just working with the probability distribution, not for the cumulative. So we will write here it as a false. And then close this bracket and press enter. So once you do that, so you will get a probability distribution when x equal to 0, means a 0 success rate. Now we want to drag this formula till 17. So if you do that, you can check it, you will get an error over here. Now the point is why we are getting the error. So once you will click on this one, you can check it in your tab. So it is a A3, means we need to calculate the probability for the random variable x is equal to 1. D3, no, what is D3? In D3, nothing is written over here. So due to this, there is an error. Even it replaces E2 with E3. So we need to fix these two cells. So we will go back to the B2 cell, double click on this one. So instead of writing D2, just write D $2 and then E $2 and then press enter. Now we need to drag this formula till 15. Just select this cell and after that move your cursor to the bottom right corner and drag this formula till the rest of the trials. So now in this case you are getting a probability distribution function as a binomial distribution function for each random variable values. So this is the binomial distribution, that is written as first as the random variable value, comma, then we have considered the total number of trials n, then the probability of getting a success. which is a probability distribution function. Now suppose if you want to calculate the cumulative distribution function, what will be the change? So in that case, so the formula is same, so rather than false, we will turn it to the true. Select the C2 cell, write the same formula is equal to binomial BINOM, then DIST, open bracket. Now we will use the random variable value 0, that is in a A2, comma total number of trial, that is given in a D2 cells. Now we will fix this one, then E2, again fix this cell. So after writing this one, we will write true because we need a cumulative distribution function. So write true over here. And then close this bracket, press enter. Now drag this formula till 17 cell. So you will get the cumulative distribution function. So this is equal to capital F of x. Once done with the cumulative distribution function, we can go with the mean. So let's evaluate the mean. So that is equal to n into p. So select an empty cell, suppose E6, and write the formula is equal to select total number of trials, that is in a D2, into probability of getting a success written in a E2, and then press enter. So this is a mean for this case. So mean is equal to 4.695. Now what is the variance? So variance is equal to NPQ. So again use the same formula. Select the E7 cell. Write the formula E is equal to D2. That is the total number of trials into probability of success written in a E2 cell into probability of failure, that is written in a F2 cell. Then press enter. And this is the value of variance. So here you have successfully calculated the mean and variance for the binomial distribution function for the case of getting a musical preference for the religion song. Now if you want to calculate the probability for the musical preference for the classical song, in that case we just need to change one value, that is equal to P is equal to 0.337 instead of 313. Replace 0.313 with 0.337, and if you press enter, you will immediately get the result for this one. So you can check it. So in this case, the mean is 5.055 and the variance is 3.35147. And whereas the binomial distribution is given in a column B and the cumulative distribution function is given in a column C. And this is for the n is equal to 15. Let's try to answer these questions. So this data analysis is regarding to the classical song preference. So first question is, what is the probability of a success for the classical song lover? So in this case, we are getting a probability is equal to 0.337. That is the answer for this question. Now the second question is, what is the probability that in a random sample of 15? So we have already taken n is equal to 15 in this case, that exactly 5 people are classical song lover. So it means in this case n is equal to 15 and the value of x is equal to 5. So the random variable x is equal to 5 is given in the 7th row, and the corresponding probability distribution function gives the value as 0.21421018, and that is the answer in this case. Next question is, what is the probability that in the random sample of 15 that indicates the value of n, from 12 to 15 people are there that likes the classical song. So 12 to 15 means the value of x is between 12 to 15. 12, 13, 14, 15. So it means we need to take the sum of this one. So for that we can use the command that is equal to sum. Now these entries in a B column. So that is from B12 to B17, and then press enter to get this answer. Basically, we need to take the sum of these entries. So take an empty cell and write equal to sum open bracket. So we need to select the data from 12 to 15. So after that, close this bracket and press enter. So in this case, the answer is 0.00032. Next question is the probability that in a random sample of 15, at least 8 people are liking the classical song. At least 8 means we need to find the probability x is greater than equal to 8. So means we need to add these entries starting from the B10 cell to B17. Again for that, choose an empty cell and write the formula is equal to sum. So we need to find the probability from x greater than equal to 8. So 8 is corresponding to this row. So select this till this one, that is the B17, and then close this bracket and press enter. So you will get the probability in this case, that is equal to 0.09338. So answer in this case is equal to 0.09338. Next question is, what is the probability that in a random sample of 15, at most 9 people are liking classical songs? So it means we need to find the probability when x is less than equal to 9. So it means we need to add these entries till 9, and we have already calculated the CDF in this case. So sum of these entries is equal to this entry. So answer in this case is f of 9, that is equal to 0.990732233. So if you want to take the two significant digits, you can write the answer approximately is equal to 0.99. Next question is, find the mean and variance for the sample variable representing the number of classical song lover in the random sample of 15. So in this case, mean is this one and the variance is equal to 3.35147. And that is the answer for the last question. For the religion song and the western song, calculate the probability distribution function and answer the same questions in the comment section.